Yo, what's up? This is Thomas Fleming. This is my Wayfinding 3 on linguistics. I would have to say, thus far, this has probably been my most favorite class. So, here we go. Let's see if I still got it. It ain't hard to tell. I excel, then prevail. The mic is contacted, I attract clientele. My mic check is like a life, death with a sniper's breath. I exhale the yellow smoke of Buddha through righteous steps. Deep like the shining, sparkle like a diamond, sneaking Uzi on the island in my army jacket lining, hit the earth like a comet, invasion, natural like the Afrocentric Asian, half man, half amazing. Cause in my physical I can express through song, delete stress like Motrin, then extend strong. I drank my wet with Medusa, give her shotguns in hell, from the spliff that I lifted in hell. It ain't hard to tell. Jeez, what a tongue twister. That is Nas, my favorite rapper of all time. He's a guy that made me fall in love with words and with poetry. And I thought it was just perfect because it went along with linguistics and the way that we talk and everything that we covered this last class that really stuck and resonated with me, especially through hip hop and lyrics and all the things that we've been talking about the last couple of sessions. So that was off of his Grammy Award winning album, Nas Illmatic, that came out in 1996. It's been so impactful. He actually teaches a class about it at certain Ivy League schools, and he created a symphony about it to where I went to go see him in Vegas, where he had the whole Philharmonic Orchestra detailing his whole album. So tonight, we're just talking about linguistics in class. These are my little notes that I'll be taking through class and really, like I said, giving me an opportunity to highlight and express my thoughts about what we've been covering, what sticks out to me, what my golden lines are, all those good things. But the first thing we started off with that stood out to me was just impact or intent versus impact. I used to say actions don't match your intentions. So to me, like I said, that's something I've always resonated with me over time. And when we talk about linguistics and the way that we talk in different ways, in a lot of those ways, I think we can misinterpret intent versus impact, what we hear and how we take or perceive that information. So one thing that I love that we talked about was always assuming best intentions. A good friend of mine taught me that a while ago. That's really stuck with me. To me, that is a part of CSJ Competency 2.4, which helps students level up or steadily increasing rigor, avoid teacher burnout. We spoke about that. To me, that was Competency 2.1, where you can always be introducing your students to new content and skills and engaging in clear and meaningful ways. And lastly, it was checking in with your norms, and that was CSJ Competency 1.2, where you're establishing a baseline of respect for your students and their learning. So rechecking your norms, why are you not having great classroom ecology? Why are kids trying to go to the bathroom and stuff like that? It's almost kind of checking in with yourself, but checking in with your class to say, hey, let's go reestablish our norms and move forward and make sure that we're communicating. So everything with linguistics is mainly stick out to me was just communication and how we communicate with each other. One thing that stood out to me was linguistic solidarity, is where you find common space to communicate. Here's a prime example of that. This is from one of my sixth graders, and we just finished reading The Outsiders, and we got to the end, and we all know that Dally and Johnny die. And my guy Ricardo put Johnny got shot because of the ops, and Ponyboy thought he didn't do it, but he did and died. So some people couldn't believe what happened. And they're so into the story And like I said, of course, we know that he's not using the correct muse, as we say, when he's saying the word ops, but that resonated with me. I can understand what he's saying when he says ops. I know what he's saying, but that's kind of like his language and where he comes from. And since this is not, a formal paper that he's turning in, he's just simply responding, in an exit ticket. I felt it was, great to kind of like let that ride. So instead of looking all confused and bothered like this guy in this picture about what did he just say, or us being so quick to correct all the time, to me that was like linguistic solidarity. Like I'm into to rap and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of times you hear that lingo where or those words where people are saying these are the ops or something. So when you think about it, it was really knowing the difference between code switching and translanguaging, right? To me, that's code switching, to where we're kind of like replacing that, and whereas translanguaging is where you're kind of using a mix of your original language or a fluid paradigm, as it was described, that gives a more colorful way of speaking. Okay, so it's those situations that made the golden line I took away important to me, which is from language is a bridge, not a barrier. The TED Talk from Dan Eckler. The golden line was language is spanning the distance between us, connecting me and my thoughts to you and yours, and that was on the 2 minute 55 mark of the TED Talk. And to me, that's it. It speaks for itself. It's connecting us through language to where we have an understanding, and that understanding is what ultimately brings us together. So, like I said, this was one of my favorite classes that I enjoyed, making the phrases and then using the phrases and having like our micro stories about what our favorite phrases were, or how it came to be. So I'll end this wayfinding with my favorite phrase. Let's go. So I just wanted to add a reflection onto my piece that I did last year when we talked about linguistics. So I appreciate the opportunity for you to just let me resubmit what I'd already done before. But the biggest part to me, like I said, the takeaway coming into a new school year is that learning that every culture and every school that you are at is different. Last year I had middle schoolers. This year I'm dealing with high schoolers at a different school district, a different demographic, different thought process, a little bit kids that are older. But then, like I said, they come from different backgrounds. So the linguistic justice that they have, or, the solidarity that I'm trying to build with them is completely different than it was last year. So just being mindful that every year you come into a brand new situation, nothing's going to be exactly the same. Like, for instance, even this year, you guys did a great job with the presentation, but we didn't talk about things we did last year, which was like code switching and other, elements of language to where we can, kind of